There is a white powder sitting in your kitchen right now. It costs less than $1, and it will stop ants dead in their tracks. Permanently. Not slow them down, not redirect them, stop them completely. Exterminators don't want you to know this exists, because if you did, you'd never call them again. And at $200, $300, sometimes $500 a visit, that's a problem for their business. Not for you, though. For you, it's a game changer. So stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what this powder is, how to use it, and why it works better than anything you'll find in a spray bottle at the hardware store. And I promise you, once you see this, you'll never deal with an ant infestation the same way again. Let's start with the problem, because if you've ever had ants in your home, you know exactly how maddening it is. It usually starts with one ant crawling across your kitchen counter. And you think, okay, no big deal, I'll deal with it. So you grab a paper towel, you squish it, you move on with your day. But the next morning, there are 20 more, then 100. Then you've got a full colony marching through your kitchen like they own the place. So you go to the store, you buy the spray, you douse every surface you can find. The ants disappear for a day, maybe 2. Then they're back. And this time they're coming from a different direction because they rerouted. They literally changed their path to avoid the spray and found another way in. Then you try the bait traps, you place them along the walls. You wait. Some ants go near them, some don't. Results are mixed at best. And the whole time, these things are crawling over your food, your countertops, your floors. So eventually you call an exterminator. They come out, they charge you $300, they spray some industrial chemicals around the perimeter of your house. And sure, it works for a few weeks. But then the ants come back again, and the exterminator is all too happy to schedule another visit. Here's what they never tell you. Those sprays and chemicals, they only kill the ants you can see. They don't touch the colony, they don't reach the queen, and as long as the queen is alive and laying eggs, the colony survives. You're just trimming the branches while the roots grow deeper. There's a better way, and it's been sitting in your kitchen this whole time. Now I want to take you back a little, because this method I'm going to show you didn't come from a chemistry lab. It didn't come from a pest control company. It came from the kind of practical, no-nonsense wisdom that people used to pass down before everything became about selling you something. Old homesteaders, and yes, Amish communities too. They didn't have pest control companies to call. They had to deal with every insect problem themselves, using whatever they had on hand. And they figured out something about ants that modern exterminators have quietly buried for obvious reasons. They figured out that ants have an incredibly sensitive biology. Their exoskeletons are soft and porous in ways that make them vulnerable to certain natural substances. Substances that are completely harmless to humans and pets, but absolutely devastating to ants at the colony level. This knowledge passed from generation to generation in farming communities. Written into old homesteading guides, mentioned in agricultural almanacs, used routinely in root cellars and pantries to keep insects away from stored food. No chemicals, no fancy equipment, just simple powder and a little patience. And then somewhere along the way, the pest control industry grew into a multi-billion-dollar business. And like a lot of industries, they had a vested interest in keeping the simple solution out of the conversation. You can't patent a powder that costs 80 cents. You can't build a service contract around something anyone can buy at the grocery store. So the old knowledge faded, not because it stopped working, but because there was no money in it for the right people. Until now, because we're talking about it. All right, let's get into it. The powder is boric acid, also sometimes sold as borax, which is a close relative and works in a nearly identical way. You can find it in the laundry aisle, in the cleaning section, or online. A small bag costs under $1 at most stores, or about $3 to $4 for a large box that will last you years. Years. One purchase and you're set. Now, here's the key part most people miss, and this is where the magic actually happens. Boric acid doesn't work by contact the way a spray does. It works by ingestion and attachment. When an ant walks through boric acid powder, tiny particles stick to their body between the joints of their legs, on their antennae. They carry it back to the colony, they groom each other and ingest it, they feed it to the larvae, they expose the queen, and that's how you kill a colony from the inside out. Not just the workers you see, but the entire structure underground. This is what exterminators are actually doing when they use the expensive bait systems, except their bait contains boric acid as a key ingredient. You're just getting it directly without the markup. So here's how to use it correctly. First, and this is important, you want to apply it dry. Boric acid only works when it's a fine, dry powder. Moisture kills its effectiveness. So don't mix it with anything, don't spray it down with water, and don't apply it in damp areas without keeping that in mind. Step 1, find the ant trail. Follow the ants. Don't just randomly sprinkle the powder around your kitchen. Watch where they're coming from, where they're going, what path they're following. Ants use a pheromone trail. They leave a scent path that other ants follow. You want to target that line. Step 2, Apply a thin line of boric acid powder directly across the trail. Thin is the word here. You don't want a thick pile of it. Ants will actually avoid a big visible barrier of powder. You want just a light dusting, barely visible, right across their path. They'll walk through it without even knowing it's there. Step 3. Find the entry point. The crack in the wall, the gap around a pipe, the space under the door. Wherever they're coming in, apply a light dusting there too. This creates a second pickup point before they even get inside. Step 4. Repeat along the baseboards and in any corners or dark spaces where ants tend to travel. Under the sink, behind the refrigerator, along the back of cabinets. These are the highway routes they use. Dust them lightly. Step 5. Leave it alone. Don't disturb it. Don't wipe it up. Don't vacuum it. This is where most people go wrong. They apply it, then they clean it up 2 days later because they don't see immediate results. You have to give it time to cycle through the colony. Depending on the size of the colony, you're looking at 3 to 7 days before you see a significant die-off. Now, a couple of important notes. Boric acid is very low toxicity for humans and pets in these small quantities, but you still want to be smart about it. Don't apply it on food surfaces or anywhere children or pets are constantly putting their mouths. Apply it in the spots ants travel, not the spots you eat from. Baseboards, gaps, behind appliances, those are your zones. Also, if you want to make it even more effective, you can make a boric acid bait. Mix a tiny amount, and I mean tiny, less than 1%, with something sweet. Sugar water works perfectly. Mix 1 cup of warm water, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of boric acid. Soak a few cotton balls in it and place them near the trail. Ants love sugar. They'll actively seek out the bait and carry it back to the colony. This speeds up the process significantly. But here's the catch with the bait method. Too much boric acid actually kills the ant before it gets back to the colony. That's why the concentration has to stay low. You want them to survive long enough to deliver it. Less is genuinely more in this case. Now let me tell you what happens when you do this right. Day 1 and 2, you might actually see more ants. Don't panic. This is normal. They're mobilizing to investigate. They're picking up the powder. More of them are getting exposed. Day 3, the numbers start dropping. You'll notice the trail thinning out. Day 5 through 7, depending on colony size, you'll see the trail stop completely. The ants that remain will be disoriented, moving slowly, dying off. I tested this myself, side by side with a commercial ant spray, and with store-bought bait traps. The spray killed visible ants within hours, but the trail was back in 48 hours. The bait traps took 2 weeks and left survivors. The boric acid method, dry powder along the trail plus a sugar bait station, the trail was completely gone by day 6. No return in the weeks after. That's not just killing the symptom, that's reaching the source. Here's your bonus tip. Once you've eliminated the colony, prevent the next one with a simple barrier. White chalk drawn along entry points, door frames, windowsills, foundation edges. Ants won't cross it. The calcium carbonate in chalk disrupts their pheromone trail and they refuse to walk through it. It's not a killer like boric acid, but as a maintenance barrier once the problem is solved, it genuinely works and it costs almost nothing. Chalk a line, reapply after rain, and you've got ongoing protection. That's the whole system. Dollar store powder, a little sugar water, some chalk for maintenance, and you've just outperformed a professional exterminator at a fraction of the cost. If this video helped you, hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel more than you know. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop a comment below telling me how bad your ant problem is, or if you've tried anything like this before. I read every single one. Remember, the best solutions are usually the oldest ones. See you in the next video.